Somewhere, across oceans and miles of silence, two people suddenly think of each other at the same time. They wake from the same dream. They feel the same ache in their hearts, though no message was sent, no words exchanged. And still, something invisible moves between them. Have you ever wondered why that happens? There's a word in quantum physics for this mysterious dance: quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two particles, once connected, remain bonded, no matter how far apart they drift. Change, the spin of one, and the other reacts instantly, not seconds later. But now, beyond time, beyond space. But what if I told you this isn't just a story about particles? What if this is the story of us, of every soul that's ever loved, lost, or remembered another across the vastness of time? Because in the quiet hum beneath science and spirit, there lies a truth so simple it almost feels sacred. We were never truly separate. Imagine two people meeting for the first time, yet they feel like they've known each other forever. Their eyes meet, and something ancient stirs, as if some forgotten thread has just been pulled. That, my friend, is the language of resonance, of frequency, of what science might call entanglement, and the soul calls recognition. You see, when two consciousnesses vibrate at the same frequency, they find each other no matter the distance. It's like two radio stations tuned to the same signal. They might exist in different places, but the wavelength carries their song across the invisible field. That's how love, intuition, and soul connections travel not through logic, but through resonance. In physics, entanglement is proven. Two photons interact, become intertwined, and from that moment, they share one identity. Measure one, and you instantly know the state of the other. Distance doesn't matter. Time doesn't delay it. And if the smallest pieces of the universe are capable of that kind of connection, how could we, who are made of the same stardust, believe we're ever truly alone? Our consciousness, our emotions, our thoughts, they're not confined inside our skulls. They ripple outward, like waves on a lake, touching everything else within the same field. When you think of someone with love or fear, your energy travels. It enters the quantum field, the great ocean of vibration, where all consciousness meets. This is why a mother feels her child's pain before the phone rings. Why you can sense someone's sadness, even through a text. Why two souls, separated by continents, dream of each other in the same night. These are not coincidences. They are echoes of connection, quantum bridges, woven from awareness itself. And yet, we spend so much of our lives trying to control everything, trying to make things happen, to understand them, to label them. But entanglement doesn't need control. It doesn't require effort. It simply is. It's the universe whispering, you are part of something that cannot be divided. When we fall quiet enough, when we stop demanding explanations, we begin to feel it, that subtle pulse between souls. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's like the stillness right before dawn, a soft knowing that you belong to something infinite. In that stillness, love becomes more than emotion. It becomes frequency. And when you hold someone in your heart, not with attachment, but with awareness, you are literally aligning your vibration to theirs. You are participating in a cosmic experiment that has been happening since the birth of light itself. Two photons, two souls, once connected, forever part of the same field. Think of love not as possession, but as resonance. You don't own the melody. You become the instrument that allows it to be played. That's why the highest form of love isn't, I need you. It's, I see myself in you. Because in truth, there is no you and I, only the field, expressing itself in different forms, learning to remember its unity through our encounters. When you meet someone who awakens something deep within, it's not a coincidence. It's entanglement. calling you home to the vibration you've always belonged to. Even pain is a kind of connection. When a relationship ends but your energy still clings, that is entanglement too, only vibrating at a lower frequency. Forgiveness is not about cutting the tie. It's about raising the vibration of that connection until it no longer hurts to feel it. When you forgive, you don't erase the bond, you liberate it. You let it return to light. And in that light, something profound happens. You begin to see that every soul you've ever met, loved, or lost is still here, woven into the same invisible web that connects everything that breathes. The laugh of a friend who passed away, the warmth of a stranger's kindness, the sudden tears when a song plays, all of it signals from the quantum field, reminding you, you were never walking alone. If the particles of the cosmos can remain entangled across galaxies, so can our hearts. The universe doesn't draw lines between physics and feeling, we do. But when we quiet the mind, when we breathe into the present moment, those lines dissolve, and what remains is one vast, luminous consciousness, experiencing itself through billions of forms: your eyes, my words, this very breath between us. So tonight, as you close your eyes, think of someone you love, not with longing, but with gratitude. Send them a silent vibration of peace. Don't try to reach them. Just be the frequency of love itself, because the field already knows where to deliver that energy. It travels faster than light, beyond space and time, like two entangled particles whispering to each other across eternity. Maybe that's what we all are, echoes of one great pulse, ripples of the same consciousness, remembering itself. And perhaps that's why, even now, as you listen to these words, you and I are already connected. Through this moment, through this awareness, through the invisible link between souls. 1. The nature of quantum entanglement, when two particles become one. There's a quiet mystery that lives at the heart of the universe, one so profound. It humbles even the sharpest minds in physics. It's called quantum entanglement. Imagine this: two tiny particles once touch, once exchange a moment of interaction, so intimate that from then on, no matter how far they drift apart across a lab, across galaxies, they remain connected. If one moves, the other responds instantly, not seconds later, not through any known signal, but as if they were still right beside each other, whispering across the fabric of existence. Physicists have measured it, proven it, repeated it, and still, they can't fully explain how, because these particles don't send messages through space. They don't communicate at all in the way we understand communication. They are one system, one event, stretched across two places. It's as though the universe is quietly showing us separation is not real. If you've ever stood by the ocean and watched two waves rise and fall, you know they may look different, yet they belong to the same water. You could name one this wave and the other that wave, but remove the labels, and what remains? Just the sea moving through form after form. Entanglement is like that. Two particles, two souls, two lives temporarily wearing the illusion of being separate, while in truth, they were never apart. We tend to believe connection requires proximity, a phone call, a conversation, a shared moment. But the quantum world says something else. When two beings have truly met, they never unmeet. Once your energies have touched, a silent thread binds you, not a chain that traps, but a pulse that remembers. It's not superstition, it's physics, but it's also poetry. In the language of science, these particles share a quantum state, meaning what happens to one instantly shapes the other's reality. Their fates are entangled. They do not exist in isolation. Their very being is defined by their relationship. In the language of the heart, it's the same. We define ourselves through connection, through the eyes that saw us, the hands that held us, the hearts that once mirrored ours. Every encounter leaves a trace, a subtle exchange of frequency. Sometimes, we think the bond ends when distance begins. But distance is only a story told by the mind. The field doesn't recognize far or near. It only knows resonance. When you love someone deeply, not possessively, but with pure recognition that love becomes entanglement, you vibrate at a shared frequency, like two tuning forks struck at the same moment. You might move to opposite corners of the world, but when one quivers, the other hums too. It's why you think of someone, and they call. It's why you sense someone's sorrow before they speak. It's why your heart aches, suddenly, for no reason, until later you learn they were thinking of you too. You see, in this universe, love is not a feeling that travels from point A to point B. It's a field that already contains both. Science calls it non-local correlation. Spirit calls it oneness. And maybe those two languages are finally meeting in the same silence. Because if two particles can mirror each other without touching, then perhaps your consciousness and mine right now are doing the same. My words appear on your screen, but before they reach your eyes, something far deeper has already connected us. Something that doesn't belong to space, time, or the internet. It belongs to the same invisible ocean that carries starlight and memory, breath and prayer. Let's go back to the ocean for a moment. Picture two drops of water floating near each other. A wave passes, and they're lifted together, merged for a moment, then carried apart. One is swept toward a coral reef, the other toward the open sea. They may travel miles away, but neither ever leaves the ocean itself. They remain made of the same salt, the same molecules, the same current. They appear to be two, but they belong to one. That's what entanglement really is, not a trick of quantum physics, but a mirror reflecting the deepest truth of existence. We were never two things trying to connect. We were one, learning to remember. For centuries, humanity has searched for evidence that connection transcends the visible. Religion spoke of spirit. Mystics spoke of unity. Scientists spoke of fields and waves. Différents langages. Same truth. Nothing stands alone. Even in darkness, when we feel most isolated, our energy is woven through the same luminous web. Even your thoughts quiet, fleeting ripple through the field, influencing patterns you'll never see, touching hearts you'll never meet. This is not a metaphor. It's the living architecture of the universe. Einstein once called entanglement spooky action at a distance. He couldn't quite accept it. It defied the logic of cause and effect. But maybe what spooked him wasn't the science, it was the intimacy. The idea that nothing, not even an atom, exists independently. That we are, by nature, bound together beyond comprehension. And perhaps that's the lesson entanglement keeps whispering. You can't untangle yourself from life. You can't isolate yourself from love. Because even when you build walls, the field flows through them. Even when you shut your heart, the resonance continues. So when you miss someone, you've lost. When your chest tightens and your breath catches, without warning, don't dismiss it as imagination. It might be your own version of quantum entanglement, their frequency brushing against yours in the invisible corridor where time dissolves. You don't have to chase it, explain it, or prove it. Just notice it, feel it, because that's what awareness is, the bridge between worlds. Maybe that's why forgiveness feels like release. When you finally let go of anger, when you stop feeding the story of separation, you return to the field that already knows peace. Forgiveness doesn't break the connection. It changes its vibration. It turns pain into understanding, resistance into harmony. Like two entangled particles returning to equilibrium, two hearts can remember their original rhythm, not through effort, but through stillness. We are all part of that rhythm. The same pulse that moves the galaxies also moves through your veins. The same intelligence that binds photons in a dance of symmetry is what allows you to feel, to dream, To love, you are not a fragment trying to belong. You are the whole, temporarily dreaming of being separate. And when you awaken, when you breathe, soften, and simply allow, you'll begin to sense what the universe has been trying to tell you all along. You were never apart from anything, not from the stars, not from each other, not from love itself. That, right there, is the essence of entanglement. It's the story of two becoming one, and then realizing they always were. And once you've seen that truth, even for a breath, you can never unsee it, because from that moment on, every glance, every sound, every heartbeat around you becomes a reminder that the same ocean that carries galaxies is carrying you. 2. From physics to spirit, the soul also has a quantum structure. There comes a moment, often after life has stripped away the noise, when you begin to sense that everything, every breath, every emotion, every flicker of thought is made of the same living fabric. The scientists call it energy. The mystics call it spirit. Different words, same essence. If you've ever looked at sunlight breaking through a cloud and felt something stir inside your chest, that quiet recognition is your soul, remembering its nature vibration. Because if everything in the universe is energy and quantum physics tells us it is, then the soul, too, must follow the same laws. It's not something floating above the body, detached and ethereal. It's woven into the field, humming at a frequency far subtler than our eyes can see. The soul isn't a thing, it's a rhythm, a pattern of coherence, a unique vibration of consciousness, expressing itself through the temporary form we call you. When physicists observe a particle, they see not a solid object, but a probability, a pulse of potential waiting to be noticed. The act of observation collapses the wave into matter. Awareness gives it form. Isn't that the same way love works? When you truly see someone not with judgment, not with need, but with presence, something collapses into being. A deeper connection takes form. A new frequency begins to hum between you. That's not philosophy. That's the same principle that governs quantum reality. Consciousness shapes matter. Awareness creates resonance. Love, in its truest sense, is an act of observation without condition. You see, our emotions are not abstract. They are measurable vibrations. Fear tightens. It contracts the field around you. Love expands. It opens the field, making your energy coherent and radiant. When you think of someone with anger, you send a jagged signal. When you think of them with forgiveness, you send light. The field records both. Every thought, every feeling, is a wave that ripples through the quantum fabric, connecting all things. That's why a sincere prayer can travel faster than sound. Faster than light because it doesn't travel through space. It moves within the field, where separation doesn't exist. I remember once, during a long season of grief, feeling as though my soul had turned to dust. The world felt colorless. But one night, sitting in silence, I felt something subtle, a gentle warmth in my chest, like a whisper. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, almost fragile, but it was real. Later I understood that was coherence returning. My energy was beginning to vibrate again, not from effort, not from forcing myself to heal, but from surrender, from allowing love, even in its faintest echo, to move through me. That's when I realized the soul doesn't need fixing. It just needs permission to vibrate again. Quantum physics teaches us that particles can be entangled, sharing the same state, even when separated. The soul experiences the same law, but through emotion, when you love someone deeply, purely, freely, without trying to possess your frequencies, synchronize. It's not a metaphor, it's resonance. You enter the same field, like two electrons vibrating in unison inside the great symphony of creation. That's why you can feel someone's presence in a room before they speak. Why their sadness tugs at your chest even when they smile. Because love creates coherence, a shared quantum signature that goes beyond space and time. Science measures frequency in hertz. Spirit measures it in compassion. But both speak of the same current movement. To be alive is to vibrate. To love is to tune your frequency toward harmony. When you're angry, your field becomes noisy, static, dissonant. When you breathe, soften, forgive, your field becomes clear again. You start to attract experiences that match your new vibration. Not because the universe rewards or punishes you, but because, like sound waves, life simply echoes back what you emit. The soul, then, is not a fixed identity. It's a field of frequencies, constantly shifting with your awareness. That's why spiritual growth isn't about becoming something new. It's about tuning yourself back to your natural resonance, the vibration of peace. Think of the soul like a musical instrument. The body is the vessel, the mind, the string, and awareness, the bow that brings sound to life. When you live unconsciously, lost in fear or comparison, the bow scrapes harshly, producing noise. But when you become still, when your awareness moves with grace, the sound becomes music. And when two souls play in harmony, whether as lovers, friends, or kindred spirits, their melodies weave into something larger, something timeless. It's what people feel when they say, "I've met my other half." In truth, they've found a frequency that matches their own. I often think of love as quantum music, two patterns merging into one rhythm. You don't lose yourself in it, you expand. When you love deeply, your boundaries soften, your energy field widens. You begin to sense things before they happen, to understand without words, to feel the quiet hum of unity beneath the surface of chaos. And when that love is lost, when distance or death separates you, the vibration doesn't vanish. It becomes memory, not in the mind, but in the field. That's why certain songs, scents, or dreams awaken a flood of emotion. The energy remembers, the field remembers. You see, energy cannot be destroyed. It only changes form. And love, being the highest frequency, never ends. It only evolves into subtler dimensions of being. If this all sounds abstract, look around. You're surrounded by proof. Every tree sways to the rhythm of sunlight. Every cell in your body pulses with electromagnetic charge. Even your heart, that quiet drum in your chest, creates a measurable field that extends several feet beyond you. It interacts with others, constantly exchanging information. When you walk into a room and feel the tension or peace before anyone speaks, that's the field communicating. That's the quantum soul at work. So maybe the question isn't, do souls have a quantum structure? Maybe the real question is, how could they not? Because when you strip away the labels human, spirit, science, faith, what remains is vibration. What remains is life, moving as frequency, expressing itself through consciousness. And perhaps that's what the mystics meant when they said, God is love. Not a being watching from above, but the fundamental frequency that sustains all existence, the hum beneath every heartbeat, the silence between every breath. When you align with that hum, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions resonate with it, you feel what we call peace. Not because the world changes, but because you are vibrating in harmony with it. To live spiritually, then, is not to escape physics. It is to embody it consciously. The soul isn't outside science. It is the science of inner experience. Quantum mechanics describes it with equations. Mystics describe it with presence. Both are saying the same thing. We are made of light that knows itself. And love, that quiet, invisible resonance between beings, is the proof. So, when you love someone deeply, when you hold them not with fear, but with awareness, your frequencies merge. two electrons spinning in the same divine music, vibrating in a rhythm that outlives the body, the name, even time itself. You are not just in love. You become love. You are the song the universe has been playing since the beginning. Soft, endless, and one, three, connection beyond time and space. There are moments in life when something invisible moves through us, moments that logic can't quite explain. A mother jolts awake in the middle of the night, her heart pounding, only to learn later that her child was in pain at that exact hour. A lover feels an ache in their chest miles away, not knowing why until a message arrives saying, "I was crying." We call it intuition or coincidence, but deep down, we know it's more than that. It's the echo of something ancient, the quiet hum of a connection that doesn't obey the limits of space or time. Quantum physics calls it entanglement. Mystics call it oneness. And perhaps they are both describing the same truth through different languages, that consciousness is not confined to the walls of the brain or the ticking of a clock. It stretches, interwoven through everything, touching everyone we've ever loved and everyone we've yet to meet. In physics, when two particles become entangled, they share one state. Measure one, and you instantly know the other, no matter if it's next to you or light years away. The universe doesn't need distance to carry information. It's as if space and time are only illusions created for the slower parts of us to understand what's already connected. What happens in the subatomic world, though unseen, is mirrored in the realm of the soul. If two photons can remain linked across galaxies, why would it be strange that two hearts might feel each other across continents? When a mother senses her child's fear, it isn't superstition. It's resonance, a thread of entanglement woven long before birth, before language, before even thought. Her awareness is still tied to that same pulse that once beat within her body. Distance doesn't erase it. Time doesn't weaken it. It only changes its form. We tend to think of consciousness as something inside us, like electricity in a bulb. But what if it's the other way around? What if consciousness is the vast sky, and we are the clouds briefly taking shape within it? Each thought, each emotion, each heartbeat a ripple across that sky. When two clouds once touched, they can drift far apart, yet the moisture they shared still circulates within the same atmosphere. You can't separate the air. You can only forget that you are breathing it together. That's the nature of true connection. Not limited, not linear. It moves through the quantum field, like a current of light, finding those who match its vibration. When you think of someone with love, your energy field expands, and part of you reaches them, no matter the miles. Not in a mystical way, but through the same laws that govern the universe itself. Energy seeks coherence. Where there is resonance, there is recognition. And in that recognition, communication happens not through words, but through frequency. Sometimes it's subtle, a sudden calm when you need it most, a warmth in your chest when you remember someone. Other times it's like an invisible hand guiding you toward or away from something. That isn't chance. It's the web of consciousness responding, rearranging itself to your awareness. The great paradox of life is that we believe in separation because we can't see the threads. Yet, those threads are what hold the fabric of existence together. Every prayer whispered in grief, every act of kindness, every thought of love, they travel beyond you, woven into the same luminous network that sustains the stars. You felt it before the sudden thought of someone right before they call, the dream that turns out to be real, the warmth that floods your heart when a stranger smiles as if they've known you for lifetimes. That is the quantum field in motion, consciousness, flowing faster than light, carrying emotion as information. The field is not out there. You are the field, made conscious. That's why your awareness has power. Every moment you think, you're shaping ripples that travel through this invisible ocean, touching others in ways you may never know. When I was younger, I used to dismiss these things, the coincidences, the dreams, the knowing that came from nowhere. But life has a way of humbling you. Loss does that. Love does that. Silence does that. After years of resisting what couldn't be measured, I began to notice that the most meaningful things in life can't be measured. They can only be felt. A hand that holds yours at the right moment. A memory that stirs at the right time. A peace that appears from nowhere and tells you you're not alone. That's connection beyond time and space. It doesn't shout. It whispers in the spaces between thoughts, in the quiet of your breath, in the gentle pull that reminds you that love is not gone. It's simply changed vibration. Think of time like a river, and consciousness like the ocean. When you dip into the river, you see movement past, present, future. But from the perspective of the ocean, everything already exists. Every wave, every drop, every possibility. So when your heart suddenly aches for someone who isn't here, it may not be nostalgia. It may be that, in the ocean of consciousness, your waves have touched once more. That's why certain places feel familiar, though you've never been there. That's why certain souls feel like home the moment you meet them. It's not magic, it's memory, not of the mind, but of the field. In this way, connection doesn't require proximity. It requires presence. When you're fully present, when your mind softens, and your awareness expands, you open a doorway through which all things communicate. That's what prayer is. That's what meditation is. Not requests sent upward, but alignment with what already is. When your vibration rises into coherence through peace, gratitude, or love, you start to feel the pulse of the universe again. And that pulse carries messages, guidance, comfort, not because someone out there hears you, but because you and the universe were never separate to begin with. Science has begun to glimpse this truth. Entanglement experiments show that information can move without traveling, that two systems can remain linked across any distance. To the mind, this defies logic, but to the soul, it feels like home. Because the soul has always known. Awareness doesn't move through space. Space moves within awareness. That's why the most profound connection is silent. It's the gaze between two people who understand without words. It's the quiet knowing that love outlives the body. It's the moment you realize that every goodbye is temporary, because in the field of consciousness, no one truly leaves. So perhaps, instead of asking how this works, we can simply allow ourselves to feel it, to trust that the threads exist, even if we can't see them, to know that when you send love, it arrives. When you forgive, it frees not just them, but you. And when you grieve, the field feels it too, and answers with gentle signs, a song, a feather, a dream, a sudden peace. These are not coincidences. They are conversations, whispers between entangled souls. And one day, when the body falls away and the clock stops ticking, you'll see it clearly that nothing was ever lost. That time was only a lens, and space only a stage for the dance of connection. Every person you've ever loved, every act of kindness, every tear shed in longing, they were all part of one continuous flow. One consciousness experiencing itself through countless forms. You've never been separate, not from your mother's heart, not from your lover's breath, not from the stars themselves. The connection has always been here, timeless, formless, infinite. You are simply remembering it now. 4. The universal field of information, where all connections occur. There's an invisible ocean surrounding us, vast, alive, and unimaginably intelligent. We are swimming in it, breathing it, shaping it with every thought and feeling. Science calls it the quantum field, the unified field of energy that underlies everything that exists. You don't see it, yet it is what allows everything to be seen. You can't hold it, yet it holds the entire cosmos together. It is not somewhere out there. It's here, between every atom, behind every heartbeat, within every moment of silence. And whether we know it or not, we are in constant conversation with it. Every thought we think, every emotion we feel, every intention we set ripples through this field like waves on still water. Physicists describe the quantum field as the fundamental fabric of reality, a boundless sea of potential where particles appear and disappear like sparks on the surface of infinity. But beyond the equations and experiments, there is something poetic about it. Because if all things rise and fall within this one field, then there's never been true separation, only different expressions of the same energy. That means when you think of someone, when you feel love or pain, you are not sending energy toward them. You are tuning yourself to the frequency that already contains them. You don't have to call, you only have to remember. The moment your awareness shifts, the frequencies align. This is why you can sense someone's energy before they speak, why you can walk into a room and instantly feel peace or tension. The field is not passive, it is responsive. It mirrors you with exquisite precision. For most of my life, I thought communication only happened through words, gestures, or sound. But there were moments that broke that belief. Moments when silence spoke louder than speech. When a glance carried more weight than 1,000 explanations. That's the field at work. The invisible bridge between beings. It doesn't require permission or distance. It responds instantly because it already is you. And here's the quiet miracle. Your field is not small. It's not limited to the body. Science has measured that the electromagnetic field of the human heart extends several feet beyond the skin, but energetically, it goes much further. The heart is a transmitter, and its signal carries information faster than thought. When you think lovingly of someone, your heart sends a coherent wave into the quantum field. When they receive it consciously or not, they feel it as warmth, calm, or sudden peace. That's not imagination. That's physics, wearing the face of compassion. Every thought is an electrical signal, every emotion, a magnetic charge. Together, they form electromagnetic imprints that shape how the field responds to you. That's why people who live in gratitude often experience more moments to be grateful for. They're not lucky. They're broadcasting a frequency that harmonizes with the energy of abundance. Likewise, those caught in cycles of fear or resentment don't attract punishment. They simply keep tuning into stations that play that same song. You don't change your life by forcing circumstances. You change it by shifting vibration, by remembering that the field doesn't speak English or Vietnamese, it speaks frequency. The language of the universe is resonance. Think of it this way: when you tune a radio, you don't create the song. The music already exists on that frequency. You just adjust the dial until you match it. Your consciousness works the same way. You don't manifest love, healing, or peace by creating them from nothing. You tune into the frequencies where they already exist. The quantum field is infinite. It contains every version of reality at once. Your focus, your emotion, and your belief. Those are your tuning tools. What you consistently hold in awareness, the field amplifies. This is why prayer, meditation, and visualization work not as superstition, but as quantum technology. When you align your energy with what you wish to experience, the field begins to rearrange reality around you to reflect that state. But here's the deeper truth: you don't manipulate the field, you collaborate with it. You and the field are partners in creation. It's like dancing with the ocean. You can't command the tide, but you can move in rhythm with it. You can surrender your resistance, open your heart, and let the wave carry you exactly where you need to be. That's what allowing means: stepping out of control and into coherence. When you stop trying to make life bend to your will and instead align your energy with peace, something subtle happens. You begin to feel guided. Coincidences multiply. Synchronicities bloom like wildflowers in your path. It's not because life suddenly favors you. It's because you've started to flow with the field rather than against it. Every moment you choose trust over fear, forgiveness over judgment, presence over anxiety, you are fine-tuning your vibration, and the field responds instantly, not in words, but through events, feelings, and people who mirror your new frequency. That's why spiritual teachers always return to the same simple lesson: be still. Because when you are still, your energy becomes coherent. And coherent energy connects directly with the field. Let's make it human for a moment. Imagine you're thinking of an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. There's no reason, no trigger. They just appear in your mind, and you feel warmth. Later that day, they send you a message out of nowhere. That isn't magic. That's resonance. The moment your thought reached the field with sincerity, the field adjusted the probabilities around both of you to create a bridge, a meeting point in time. It's the same when a song plays that answers a question you were holding, or when you cross paths with a stranger who says exactly what you needed to hear. These are not coincidences. They are harmonics in motion. The field is not linear. It doesn't operate by human logic. It simply matches vibration to vibration. If you understood how responsive it truly is, you'd be gentle with your thoughts. You'd watch what you dwell on, because the field amplifies whatever you feed it, not out of punishment, but precision. It is as neutral as gravity, as intimate as breath, and yet, it is also loving, not with emotion, but with intelligence, an intelligence that organizes galaxies, orchestrates healing, and guides you quietly toward wholeness if you learn to listen. The whispers of intuition, the sudden calm in chaos, the inexplicable pull towards something good for you. That's the field speaking your higher self, translating energy into experience. To live consciously in this quantum reality is to realize you are never alone in your thoughts. The field is listening not like a judge, but like a mirror. It reflects your vibration faithfully, showing you what you believe, what you fear, what you love. When you understand that, life becomes less about control and more about alignment. You stop asking, "How can I get what I want?" and start asking, "What frequency am I living on?" Because the truth is, you already are the vibration you seek. The field doesn't withhold. It only waits for you to remember. So next time you miss someone, don't reach out in longing. Just think of them gently. Feel love, not lack. The field will take care of the rest. And when you wish to heal, don't fight the pain. Let the emotion flow through your body and back into the field, where it will dissolve like a wave returning to the ocean. Every thought, every feeling, every act of kindness, all of it circulates through the same field, weaving us together in ways too subtle for the mind, but perfectly clear to the heart. You don't need to call anyone. You don't need to beg the universe. Just tune in, because the moment you do, the frequency matches and connection happens. Instantly, naturally, inevitably. The quantum field isn't something to understand. It's something to feel in the stillness between breaths, in the warmth of gratitude, in the quiet knowing that your life is not random, but orchestrated by an intelligence that moves through you, as you, for you. And when you finally trust that when you surrender to that unseen rhythm, the field responds with the only language it knows: coherence, synchronicity, and grace. You begin to live as part of the great conversation, not as an isolated voice shouting into the void, but as a melody returning to the symphony that never ended. That is where every connection happens. Not in time, not in space, but here in the field of all possibilities, where love, thought, and being are one and the same. 5. When love becomes a quantum wave. Love, a word spoken endlessly, yet rarely understood. We often mistake it for attachment, or longing, or the comfort of being seen. But love, real love, is not a transaction between two people. It is a frequency, a living energy that flows through all things, binding the universe together in ways more powerful than gravity, more subtle than light. Quantum physics teaches us that the strongest forces are often invisible. The gravitational pull that holds planets in orbit, the magnetic fields that shape matter. None of these can be seen directly. Love is the same. You can't touch it. You can't measure it with instruments. And yet it moves mountains within the human soul. It is not something we have. It is something we become. When love moves through you without condition, when it's no longer about what you receive, but what you radiate, it turns into what I call a quantum wave. It transcends the boundaries of self and merges with the greater field, the same field that governs the dance of particles, stars, and consciousness itself. Most people think of love as an emotion, but emotion belongs to the body, and love is far deeper than that. Love is the resonance of awareness itself. It's what happens when consciousness recognizes itself in another form. That's why the purest love doesn't cling or demand. It doesn't say, "Bemina." It says, "I see you." And in that moment of true seeing, something extraordinary happens. Two souls synchronize. Their energy fields overlap, not in ownership, but in harmony, like two tuning forks vibrating at the same note. Their frequencies merge into one vibration, coherent, luminous, expansive. This is what it means to love with awareness rather than need. Need grasps. Awareness allows. Need drains. Awareness generates. When you love through awareness, you're not trying to complete yourself through another. You're remembering that you were never incomplete to begin with. There's a story in every heart of loss, of longing, of searching for someone to fill the silence inside. I know that ache well. I once mistook it for love. But love that is born from emptiness will always fade, because it's seeking from the wrong direction. True love doesn't come to fill a void. It arises when you've made peace with your own aloneness, when your inner energy begins to hum in balance. Then, when another person enters your life, their vibration doesn't complete you. It resonates with you. It's the difference between two broken halves clinging to survive, and two whole beings choosing to dance. And that dance, that effortless flow between giving and receiving, is what the ancients called sacred union. Not a merging of bodies, but a meeting of frequencies. Two waves joining without collision, amplifying one another into higher coherence. That's quantum love. When you love at that level, you stop asking, "Do they love me back?" because you begin to realize that love isn't something that travels between 2 points. It radiates outward like sunlight. It doesn't return because it never leaves. And the more you allow it to move through you, the stronger it becomes, not as desire, but as awareness. In quantum terms, love behaves like a coherent wave, pure, steady, unified. When that wave meets dissonance, fear, anger, separation, it doesn't fight. It gently reorganizes the field until harmony returns. That's why love heals. You don't have to do anything to make it heal. Just being in that frequency alters the energy around you. People calm down. Conflicts soften. Even physical pain begins to shift. Because love changes the electromagnetic coherence of the body. And the secret is, you don't have to send it anywhere. You just have to become it. The mind always wants to direct love to give it to this person. Withhold it from that one. Protect it. Or control it. But the heart knows love doesn't belong to anyone. It flows through us like wind through leaves. When you let go of trying to own love, it expands beyond you. It becomes an energy field, vast, intelligent, and infinite. You start to feel connected not only to people but to everything: the trees, the rain, the faces of strangers. This isn't fantasy. It's awareness dissolving the illusion of separation. When love becomes the state you live from, rather than something you chase, you notice miracles in the ordinary. a bird landing near you as if it knows you, a stranger's smile that feels like recognition, a silence between words that says, "We are one." I once sat with an old monk in Nepal who said something I'll never forget. He told me, "Love is not between two people. It is the space that allows two people to exist." At the time, I didn't understand it, but years later, after losing and finding love again, I did. The love that endures isn't about possession, it's about freedom. When you love with awareness, you stop trying to hold on. You start allowing everything to move through you: joy, loss, closeness, distance, all of it. Because the wave doesn't need to cling to the ocean, it is the ocean. And yet, this kind of love asks for courage. To love without holding back means surrendering your need to control outcomes. It means letting people be who they are, even if that means they walk away. But here's the paradox: when you release them with love, you don't lose them. You move into a frequency where your souls still touch quietly, wordlessly, beyond space and time. That's what it means when I say, to love someone with awareness, not with need. That is when two souls meet in silence. It's a communion beyond language, a shared vibration where everything unnecessary dissolves expectations. Fear, history, what remains is stillness, presence, the hum of unity. When two people reach that level of love, their connection becomes quantum. It doesn't depend on contact or proximity. They could be continents apart, yet their energy fields remain synchronized. Have you ever thought of someone, and instantly they call or message you? That's not coincidence. It's coherence, two consciousnesses resonating in the same wavelength within the field. At that level, even death doesn't sever the connection. The form may change, but the frequency remains. That's why you can still feel someone you've lost, not as memory, but as presence. Love, when purified of need, is eternal. In physics, energy cannot be destroyed. It only transforms. The same is true for love. Every act of kindness, every genuine smile, every moment of compassion adds coherence to the quantum field. It raises the vibration of the collective, and though the world may seem divided, the field is not. The more of us who choose love, not the sentimental kind, but the conscious, steady, healing kind, the more the frequency of the planet shifts toward unity. Love is not weak. It is the most potent force in existence. It is the wave that gives birth to all others. So the next time you love someone, don't ask what you'll get in return. Ask yourself what frequency you're radiating. If it's need, it will contract. If it's awareness, it will expand. And when you love purely without demand, without fear, you will feel what the mystics meant when they said, the divine is not something we reach, but something we remember. Because in those moments, you don't just feel love, you become love. You become the wave, moving through everything past, present, future, carrying light. Where there once was separation, that wave is who you've always been. You've just forgotten the rhythm. Now, you remember? 6. Synchronicity and the signs from the universe. There are moments when life feels like it's speaking to you quietly, subtly, through events that seem too perfectly timed to be random. You think of someone, and your phone lights up with their name. You turn on the radio, and the lyrics echo the exact words your heart needed to hear. You ask for a sign in silence, and a feather lands at your feet. Some call it coincidence, others call it fate. But when you start living with awareness, you begin to see it for what it truly is: synchronicity. The universe's way of having a conversation with you through the fabric of reality itself. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't use words, but patterns. And it always arrives exactly when you're ready to listen. Quantum physics tells us that everything in the universe is connected through a field of energy, the quantum field. Every thought, every emotion, every intention sends ripples through that field, just like pebbles cast into a pond. When two ripples meet, they interfere, creating patterns, sometimes chaotic, sometimes beautifully aligned. That alignment, that mysterious crossing of vibrations, is what Carl Jung called synchronicity. It's not mere chance, it's coherence between inner and outer worlds. It's the field mirroring back your state of consciousness. When you think of someone with clarity and love, that signal doesn't vanish into nothing. It travels through the quantum field, through the same web of entanglement that binds all consciousness together. And if that person is open, if their frequency is close to yours, they receive it, not through their phone, but through their being. That's why they message you the moment you think of them. That's why you feel peace when someone prays for you. It's the meeting point of two waves in the same invisible ocean. The universe doesn't speak in human language. It speaks through coincidences, meaningful ones. Each one is a form of resonance, a reflection of your inner vibration, finding its match in the outer world. When you begin to align with your own truth, when your mind, heart, and actions move in harmony, the field around you organizes itself into rhythm. You step into what mystics have always described as flow. In that flow, life no longer feels like something happening to you. It begins to happen through you. There was a time in my life when I doubted everything: my direction, my faith, even my worth. In that darkness, I remember whispering to the night, "If there's meaning in all this, show me." The next morning, a stranger handed me a book with the exact phrase I had spoken written on the first page. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't mystical. But I knew, in that quiet way, you just know, that something had heard me. Synchronicity isn't proof that the universe obeys you. It's evidence that it knows you, that it's listening, responding, arranging small mirrors to remind you that you were never walking blind. When you live unconsciously, you see events as accidents. But when you awaken, you realize that every encounter, every delay, every detour has meaning woven through it. The right people cross your path, not because of luck, but because energy recognizes energy. The universe isn't chaotic, it's musical. Every thought you think is a note, every feeling, a vibration. Synchronicity is how the song answers you. It's the echo of your energy calling back in form. You don't have to make synchronicity happen. It unfolds naturally when your energy is aligned, when your inner world is coherent. The moment your heart opens and your mind quiets, your frequency rises, and the field begins to reflect that new vibration. The universe is not withholding guidance from you. It's simply waiting for you to slow down enough to notice. I once met a woman who said, "When I finally stopped begging for signs, they started to appear everywhere." That's the paradox. When you release the desperation to control life, you become receptive to its guidance. Synchronicity is not about effort, it's about awareness. You don't chase the message, you become the listener. And when you listen, really listen, you realize the universe has been speaking all along. It speaks through numbers that repeat 1, 1, 1, 1 on the clock, 222 on a receipt, through strangers who tell you exactly what you needed to hear, through closed doors that turn out to be blessings in disguise, through the softness in your chest when something simply feels right. These are not random occurrences. They are the fingerprints of a universe in conversation with itself through you. The deeper I've gone into this truth, the more I see that synchronicity isn't just about receiving signs, it's also about sending them. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions ripple outward, creating waves that others interpret as intuition, opportunity, or guidance. You might call someone just as they needed to hear a kind word. You might write something that shifts a stranger's life. You might walk into a room and bring calm simply by being there. That's not coincidence. That's you participating in the web of synchronicity. Consciously or not, You are both the message and the messenger. And yet, the mind wants to make this phenomenon complicated. It wants to decode every sign, every number, every coincidence, as if the universe were playing some cosmic game of riddles. But it isn't a puzzle to be solved. It's a rhythm to be felt. When you try to control the meaning, you step out of flow. When you allow it to move through you like music through a dancer, you begin to see that synchronicity isn't something given to you. It's something created with you. Think of the universe as a mirror made of light. Every thought, every feeling, every choice sends ripples across that mirror. When you align with love, the reflection becomes luminous. When you sink into fear, the reflection distorts. But the mirror itself never judges it, only reveals. So when synchronicity appears, that call, that symbol, that unplanned meeting, pause. Don't rush to define it. Just breathe. Notice. And feel what part of you it's reflecting. Is it confirming a truth you already knew? Is it nudging you toward trust? Is it reminding you that you're supported? If you stay quiet long enough, you'll hear the answer without words. The universe does not speak in sentences. It speaks in timing. It speaks through doors that open effortlessly and others that refuse to budge. It speaks through the softness of coincidence, those perfect alignments that seem too tender to be random. Coincidence, after all, comes from the Latin coincidere, to fall together. That's what synchronicity is, the falling together of inner and outer worlds. When you understand this, you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin to ask, "What is this showing me?" That shift from reaction to awareness turns life from chaos into conversation. Every synchronicity is an invitation to trust that the field knows what you're becoming, to see that even the smallest sign, a song, a dream, a chance encounter, is the universe whispering, "You're in alignment. Keep going." And as you walk this path, signs will continue to bloom around you like constellations lighting the night sky, not because the universe is trying to impress you, but because you have finally slowed down enough to see its patterns. That's when you realize you were never waiting for signs. You were learning to become one, because the universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks in synchronicities, in the gentle language of coincidence and rhythm. And once you learn to listen, you discover that every heartbeat, every breath, every step you take is already part of the message. You are not separate from the conversation. You are the conversation. 7. The energetic wound and the bond of pain. There is a kind of connection that doesn't come from love's light, but from its shadow, the threads woven in pain, loss, and unspoken resentment. We don't often talk about it, yet we feel it deeply. You know that invisible pull towards someone you no longer see, the heaviness that lingers long after the story has ended. That is not memory, it is energy. Because connection doesn't vanish when love turns into hurt. Energy doesn't stop flowing just because the relationship ended. It simply changes frequency. And when we hold on to anger, guilt, or grief, that frequency becomes dense, like a note that never resolves. Two souls remain tethered, vibrating in the same unfinished chord of sorrow. These are the energetic chords we form when we cannot let go. Not physical threads, but subtle lines of resonance. They bind us not through presence, but through resistance. When you love someone and then lose them, whether through betrayal, death, or distance, the energy between you doesn't disappear. It waits for direction. If that love is carried with forgiveness and acceptance, it rises, it evolves. But if it's held through blame or regret, it loops endlessly, replaying the same emotional frequency like a song stuck on repeat. That's why certain memories still sting even years later. The moment you think of them, your body tightens, your breath shortens, the wound reopens. You're not remembering, you're reliving. The energy field doesn't distinguish past from present. It only responds to vibration. In that sense, pain is not an enemy. It's a messenger, showing you where your energy is still trapped. Every ache, every recurring thought, every emotional charge is the field whispering. There is something here that still wants to be freed. When I was younger, I used to think forgiveness meant letting someone off the hook, pretending the wound never happened. But life taught me otherwise. Forgiveness is not about denying pain. It's about releasing the energy that pain created. When you forgive, you don't cut the connection. You elevate it. You transform the vibration of the bond itself from resistance to release, from resentment to recognition. It's like untangling a knot that has kept your soul in tension. You don't destroy the thread. You smooth it until it flows freely again. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It purifies it. Every relationship, even the painful ones, serves a purpose in your evolution. Some souls enter your life to awaken love. Others arrive to awaken strength, but every one of them mirrors something within you that's asking to be healed. That's why the same type of person or situation often repeats until the frequency changes. Life isn't punishing you. It's giving you another opportunity to release the energy you've been carrying. We attract at the level of vibration, not intention. If your energy field still holds unhealed pain, it will draw people who resonate with that frequency, not to wound you again, but to show you what still lingers. Pain repeats itself until it teaches what it came to teach, that love, when purified of expectation and control, is the only frequency that truly liberates. You can't heal an energetic wound by pretending it isn't there. You heal it by acknowledging it fully, by feeling it, breathing through it, and allowing it to move. Energy wants to flow. Pain is simply energy that's been frozen by judgment. The moment you stop labeling it as wrong and begin to witness it with compassion, it begins to soften. That's why true healing often begins in stillness, in moments when you stop trying to fix yourself and start listening. The body trembles, tears rise, memories surface, and suddenly you realize it's not the emotion that hurts. It's the resistance to feeling it. When you let the pain pass through you, it transforms. You don't need to analyze or justify it. You only need to allow it. There's a quiet wisdom in the energy body. It knows how to heal if you let it. The heart, for instance, is not just an organ. It's a transmitter of frequency. When you hold on to resentment, your heart's rhythm becomes incoherent. The signal it sends to the quantum field is jagged, conflicted. But when you forgive, when you breathe with awareness, your heart regains coherence. The energy stabilizes, and the field around you reorganizes. That's not poetry, it's physics. Coherent energy creates harmony. Incoherent energy sustains chaos. So when you forgive, you are not doing something sentimental. You are performing quantum realignment. You are restoring coherence to your field, which naturally frees both you and the one you were bound to. It's a strange truth. The people who hurt you most deeply are often the ones who awaken you most profoundly. Their role was never to complete you, but to break open what was closed. And though the pain feels personal, its purpose is universal, to teach you what it means to love without attachment, to release without bitterness, to see through the illusion of separation. Forgiveness doesn't mean you invite them back into your life. It means you stop letting their energy live inside yours. You reclaim your vibration. You stop playing the same note of pain and choose a higher harmony instead. Once, a teacher told me, pain is the doorway to power. At the time, I didn't understand. I thought power meant control. But now I see power is presence. Power is the ability to stay open in the face of what once closed you. When you can look at someone who hurt you and no longer feel the pull of pain, that's not indifference, that's mastery. The energetic cord between you has shifted from tension to peace. The lesson has completed, and that's how the field knows the vibration has changed. The pattern can end. If you've ever felt drained after thinking of someone, or heavy, after revisiting an old story. That's your energy trying to tell you. Something here still holds your attention. Attention is energy. Wherever you place it, you feed it. So if you keep revisiting the wound, you keep it alive. But if you bring compassion to it, if you breathe light into that memory instead of judgment, you change its vibration. The bond doesn't vanish, it ascends. In that moment, the energy that once held you prisoner becomes the energy that frees you. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering differently. You remember the lesson, not the pain. You honor the growth, not the wound. And when you do, the energy that once tied you down becomes part of your strength, wisdom vibrating at a higher octave. When you forgive, you don't sever the connection between souls. You release it into light. You elevate the resonance so that both can evolve. You become lighter, clearer, more at peace. And sometimes, without a word spoken, the other person feels it too. That's the beauty of energy healing, is never one-sided. In the end, every bond, loving or painful, serves to bring you closer to truth. And the truth is simple. We were never meant to stay bound by pain. We were meant to learn from it, to alchemize it, to rise through it. Forgiveness, then, is not weakness. It is the highest act of energetic intelligence. It is choosing coherence over chaos, harmony over resistance, freedom over fear. So if you're still carrying a wound that feels too heavy to heal, take this to heart. You don't have to cut the cord. You only have to raise it with compassion, with awareness, with love. Because when you forgive, you don't end the connection. You transform it. You release both souls from the vibration of pain and lift them into the frequency of light where nothing is lost, only liberated. And in that moment of release, the universe sighs in relief with you, because one more knot in the web of consciousness has been untangled and energy, once again, can flow free. 8. Soul companions, soulmates, and twin flames. There are people you meet in this life who stir something ancient within you. You can't explain it logically. There's no reason for the familiarity, no story to justify the depth. You simply know their presence feels like déjà vu wrapped in calm. Their eyes remind you of something you've forgotten. And in that moment, something inside whispers, "Oh, it's you." We often call them soulmates or twin flames, words that point toward a mystery too big for language. But beneath the poetry lies a simple, profound truth. Not all connections are created in this lifetime. Some are woven far earlier, within the quantum field itself, where time doesn't flow in lines, but in circles of vibration. If all existence is energy, then the soul, too, is a vibration, a frequency within the unified field. In that field, certain soul particles once danced together, harmonizing in the same rhythm, spinning in resonance like paired photons. They shared a signature of light so unique that even when scattered into different bodies, times, or lifetimes, the imprint remains. When those frequencies meet again, across the expanse of human experience, they recognize each other not with memory, but with vibration, not through sight, but through resonance. That's why you don't fall in love at first sight. You remember. It's not discovery, it's recognition. The moment you meet them, something ancient reawakens. The body might tremble, the mind might question, but the soul already knows. We've danced this before. From a quantum perspective, it's as if two particles that were once entangled meet again after eons of separation. The distance, the time, the lifetimes, none of it matters. Once the frequencies align, the energy reconnects instantly. Soulmates and twin flames are not half-souls searching for completion. They are frequencies of consciousness remembering coherence. They don't come to fill you, they come to reflect you. They mirror both your beauty and your unfinished work. Every soul vibrates at a specific tone, a pattern shaped by lifetimes of choices, emotions, and lessons. In the vast symphony of the universe, certain notes naturally harmonize. Those are your soulmates, the ones whose energy moves with yours in graceful rhythm. Soulmates arrive in many forms: a friend who feels like home, a teacher who awakens you, a lover who opens your heart just by breathing beside you. They may not stay forever, but their presence alters the melody of your life. They remind you of who you are beneath the noise. Then there are the twin flames. They are rarer, not because they're more special, but because their purpose is more intense. They are not just harmony, they are ignition. When you meet your twin flame, the energy can feel overwhelming, even chaotic. They are the mirror that shows you both your highest light and your deepest shadow. It's not always romantic. It's transformative. From a quantum viewpoint, imagine two particles that were once one, then split, sent across vast distances, but forever linked by the same energetic signature. No matter how far they travel, when one vibrates, the other responds. Twin flames operate on this principle. They are two expressions of the same consciousness, exploring polarity to learn balance. One may carry the masculine frequency of action, the other, the feminine frequency of stillness, but both are aspects of the same source. Learning to return to unity through reflection. Meeting your twin flame isn't the fairy tale most imagine. It can be both exhilarating and excruciating. The connection exposes every wound, every fear, every attachment you've ever carried. Because the purpose isn't comfort, it's awakening. They come not to complete you, but to break open the illusions that say you were ever incomplete. I once met someone like this, someone whose presence felt like stepping into sunlight after a lifetime underground. We could barely speak at first. The silence between us carried more electricity than words ever could. And yet, it wasn't easy. Every joy they evoked was matched by an ache just as strong. It was as if the universe handed me both a mirror and a magnifying glass, showing not just who I was, but what I still resisted becoming. It took years to understand such souls are not meant to stay in the way the mind hopes. Their role is to awaken remembrance, not possession. You can't lose a twin flame, because the bond doesn't depend on time, proximity, or labels. It exists in the quantum field, eternal, silent, complete. The connection may shift forms from lovers to memory, from closeness to distance, but the frequency never dies. It simply evolves, finding new harmony at a higher octave. Soulmates bring peace. Twin flames bring transformation. Both lead you home, one through comfort, the other through fire. If you meet someone and everything in you softens, they're likely a soulmate. If you meet someone and everything in you burns, they might be your twin flame. Either way, the purpose is the same: to awaken love, not the small love of possession, but the vast love of recognition, because in truth, every connection, whether fleeting or eternal, is helping you remember one thing: that you and they, and everything in existence, were always part of the same field. It's easy to romanticize these ideas, to believe that finding your other half will end your searching. But love, real love, begins when the searching ends. When you realize that your wholeness was never missing, you stop reaching outward and begin vibrating from within. That's when you attract connections that mirror your peace, not your pain. That's when soulmates appear effortlessly, because your frequency finally calls to them without distortion. The universe doesn't send you what you want, it sends you what you are. If you carry harmony, you'll meet harmony. If you carry chaos, you'll meet chaos until you remember how to still your own field. Soulmates and twin flames don't complete the journey, they highlight it. They show you where your energy still trembles and where it already shines. From a higher perspective, all souls are entangled. The distinction between mine and yours fades at the level of truth. We are waves of the same ocean temporarily forming into separate crests, meeting, merging, parting, and returning again to the deep. Some waves rise together, again and again. Across lifetimes, those are your soul companions. Their energy feels familiar not because of memory, but because the vibration of your souls was once in perfect phase. You don't find them through effort. You recognize them through stillness. The moment your frequency steadies, the field aligns, and the souls meant for you are drawn in, not by fate, but by physics. The beauty of it all is this: whether a soulmate stays a lifetime or a single season, they are never truly gone. Energy doesn't die. The resonance you shared continues to exist, a soft echo in the field, a warmth that revisits you in quiet moments, a sense of presence that doesn't fade. Sometimes, years later, you'll hear a song, see a color, or walk under the same sky, and something within will stir a vibration of recognition. Not longing. That's not nostalgia. That's the field reminding you of love's continuity. Because love doesn't end. It only changes form. And maybe that's what we call reunion. Not a dramatic encounter under stars, but the quiet knowing that every soul you've ever loved is still part of you. The you reading these words, the them living elsewhere, and the us that existed before any of this began all are notes in the same cosmic song. You were never separated. You are not searching for the other half. You are remembering the music you already share. So when you meet a soulmate or a twin flame, and your heart recognizes them without reason, know this: you're not falling in love. You're falling into memory. And that memory of unity, of harmony, of endless return, is the truest love of all. 9. Collective consciousness and the human network. There comes a moment on the path of awakening when the boundaries between you and me begin to soften. You start to see that your inner world and the outer world are not separate, that your thoughts ripple outward, shaping the unseen, that your peace quietly becomes someone else's calm, and that the choices you make, the energy you emit, are not small or personal. They are threads in a vast, luminous web that connects every living being. This web is not metaphorical, it's energetic. It's what quantum physics describes as the unified field, and what ancient mystics called the oneness of life. Every soul, every mind, every heartbeat is a node in this infinite network, constantly transmitting, receiving, and co-creating reality together. We are not isolated islands of consciousness. We are waves in one great ocean, and every time one wave rises, the tide rises with it. You can feel this truth if you've ever walked into a room and sensed the mood before a word was spoken. The air feels heavy when tension lingers. It feels open and alive when there's laughter. That's the collective field at work, a shared vibration born from the consciousness of everyone present. Now imagine this multiplied across a city, a nation, the entire planet. 7 billion fields overlapping, blending, and influencing each other in an endless dance of energy and intention. That is the living matrix we are part of. When one person raises their frequency through compassion, forgiveness, in stillness, or joy, they subtly shift the resonance of the whole. The field reorganizes. It becomes a little lighter, a little more coherent. One calm heart can soothe an entire room. One awakened soul can inspire hundreds to see differently. This is not a poetic dream. It's resonance in motion. For years, science has measured this phenomenon. Groups meditating together have been shown to lower crime rates and raise collective well-being in cities. The electromagnetic field of the human heart can synchronize with others nearby. Even random number generators devices designed to produce chaos begin to show patterns during global moments of shared emotion, such as natural disasters or celebrations. The conclusion is both humbling and empowering. Consciousness interacts with reality. The collective state of humanity literally shapes the frequency of the planet. So when you heal, you are not doing it just for yourself. You are recalibrating the grid that connects us all. I used to believe that inner work was selfish, that turning inward meant turning away from the world's suffering. But life taught me the opposite. The more peace I found within, the more naturally compassion arose without effort. The more light I cultivated inside, the more life around me seemed to reflect it. Because energy doesn't stay contained. When you calm your nervous system, you emit coherence. When you forgive, you send out freedom. When you love, you become a transmitter of light into the network. You are constantly contributing to the collective vibration whether you know it or not. This understanding changes everything. It means that kindness is not a small act. It's a frequency upgrade. That meditation is not isolation, it's communication with the field. That every genuine smile, every prayer, every moment of gratitude feeds the matrix of consciousness we share, and it also means that despair and fear, when repeated by millions, create waves of density that influence the collective. You can feel it in the heaviness of the world. Sometimes the collective anxiety, the restlessness, the endless search for meaning. But here's the good news. Coherence is stronger than chaos. A single candle can illuminate a dark room. Likewise, one heart vibrating in peace can neutralize countless vibrations of fear. This is how the universe balances itself, not through force, but through frequency. We often think global change requires mass revolutions or grand gestures. But in truth, the revolution begins quietly, within. The moment you choose to respond with love instead of anger, you tilt the scales of consciousness toward harmony. The moment you breathe through your pain rather than project it, you contribute to healing the human field. Because what you transform within yourself, you transform for all. If the human mind is a neuron in the brain of the earth, then every moment of awareness strengthens the collective intelligence. Every act of compassion rewires the network toward empathy. Every decision to forgive sends a signal to millions of unseen hearts. It's possible. There's a beauty in realizing how deeply entangled we are. It means that none of us suffers alone, but also that none of us heals alone. The grief you release makes it easier for someone else to face theirs. The courage you embody gives another permission to act. The love you offer becomes the pattern someone else remembers when they've forgotten hope. It's not your words or deeds alone that travel. It's your energy. Your vibration is a message that moves through the quantum web, touching those you may never meet. I've seen this in moments that defy reason. A stranger smiling at me on a difficult day, not knowing they had just shifted my entire mood. A message arriving at the exact moment I needed guidance. A song playing in a cafe with lyrics that spoke directly to a question I'd silently asked. These are not coincidences. They are expressions of the network, the field arranging itself through synchronicity to maintain balance. The universe, through countless souls, reminding you that you are supported. We don't merely connect, we co-create. Every thought is a seed planted in the collective garden. Some grow into beauty, others into weeds. What we feed through attention, emotion, and belief becomes the landscape we all share. It's easy to look at the world and feel powerless in the face of its pain, the wars, the injustice, the noise. But the field doesn't respond to despair. It responds to frequency. The most powerful thing you can do for humanity is not to fight against darkness, but to embody light with clarity and consistency. Your calm is not apathy. It's medicine. Your compassion is not weakness. It's alignment. And your small acts of consciousness ripple outward in ways you will never fully see. The universe doesn't measure scale. It measures vibration. Sometimes, when the weight of the world feels heavy, I close my eyes and imagine this network luminous thread spanning across the globe, connecting heart to heart, breath to breath. Some threads are dim, tangled, tired. Others glow brighter, strong and clear. And I remind myself all it takes is one steady light to rekindle the next. We are not separate stories competing for survival. We are one organism learning to remember itself. One consciousness awakening through billions of expressions. And the moment you realize this, the moment you feel that your inner peace contributes to the peace of all, something shifts inside you. Responsibility transforms into reverence. Living becomes an act of service. This is the quiet revolution of consciousness, not through noise, but through resonance, not through force, but through frequency. You raise your vibration, and the field follows. Every moment of presence you offer ripples through the web. Every time you forgive, you untie an old knot in the fabric of humanity. Every time you choose understanding over fear, you strengthen the light grid that holds this world together. You may never see the full effect of your coherence, but the field does. It adjusts, it heals, it remembers. So, when you feel small in the face of all that's happening, remember this: you are part of something vast and living. You are a single cell in the body of humanity, pulsing with divine intelligence. And every beat of your heart, every conscious breath, every loving thought contributes to the rhythm of the whole. We are not just connected, we are co-creators composing, together, the frequency of the future. And the more of us who awaken to that truth, the more the song of humanity changes from dissonance to harmony, from chaos to coherence, from fear to love. That is how the collective evolves, one heart at a time, until the entire field remembers we were never separate. We were always one light, shining through many forms. 10. Returning to oneness. You and the universe are one. At some point, after all the searching, the striving, the letting go, you realize that the journey was never about becoming something more. It was about remembering what you already are. Every joy, every heartbreak, every connection and separation, all of it was guiding you back to a truth so simple that the mind keeps overlooking it. You and the universe were never two. All entanglements, those of love, loss, pain, and awakening, are threads in the same great weave, pulling you toward the place where division dissolves, the place where I and you blur into a single presence, the place where silence speaks the loudest language of all. We're always one. When you look at the night sky, it's easy to feel small, to see yourself as a brief flicker in the vastness of space. But what if it's the other way around? What if the universe is looking back through your eyes? What if consciousness is not contained within you, but you are the expression of consciousness itself, momentarily shaped as a human being? You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean pretending to be a drop for a while, so it can experience its own depth. Every cell in your body is made of stardust. Every atom, once part of something ancient, a star that lived, burned, and died billions of years ago. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon that holds you together, all forged in cosmic fire. You are literally the universe, remembering itself through the miracle of awareness. Quantum entanglement shows us this truth in the language of science. Two particles, once connected, remain inseparable, no matter the distance. Change one, and the other responds instantly, as if space and time were illusions masking an underlying unity. The mystics have been saying the same thing for centuries. We are all one. They whispered, the separation you see is only the surface. Entanglement, then, isn't just a scientific curiosity. It's the blueprint of existence. It's the reminder that nothing is truly apart. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every act of kindness or cruelty ripples through the entire fabric of being. When you understand that, compassion becomes natural, because to harm another is to disturb the field you yourself belong to. To love another is to heal a part of yourself. I've learned that the real awakening isn't a burst of light or some mystical vision. It's gentler than that. It's the quiet recognition that when you look into another person's eyes, no matter who they are, you are meeting yourself in another form. When you see someone suffering and feel the instinct to soften, that's the universe, remembering its unity. When you forgive someone who doesn't deserve it, that's the field reorganizing itself into coherence. And when you sit alone in silence and suddenly feel at peace for no reason at all, that's oneness revealing itself beneath the noise. This is what it means to look at another with eyes of understanding and love. You're not being kind. You're remembering. Remembering that what stands before you has never been separate from what breathes within you. For much of my life, I lived in the illusion of me. My fears were mine. My successes were mine. My pain was mine. I guarded my boundaries, defended my identity, built walls to protect a self I thought was fragile. But every wall I built became a mirror. Every time I tried to separate myself from others, life found a way to show me that separation was the real illusion. The anger I felt toward someone would reappear inside me. The judgment I cast would echo back as shame. And when I finally stopped fighting it, when I sat quietly enough to see, I realized there is no my pain and your pain. There is only pain passing through us all, seeking to be transmuted into understanding. Oneness isn't an idea to believe in. It's an experience that unfolds when resistance ends. It's what remains when you stop defining, comparing, or controlling. When the mind relaxes its grip, the heart opens naturally. And when the heart opens, the illusion of me versus them collapses. In that space, life becomes astonishingly simple. You begin to see beauty in everything, not because the world suddenly improves, but because your perception becomes whole again. The sound of rain isn't outside you anymore. It's part of your breathing. The laughter of a stranger vibrates in your chest. Even silence feels alive, full, not empty. You realize that what you once called God, the universe, or the field was never separate from you. It was your own awareness, quietly, holding everything in love. To live in oneness doesn't mean you lose individuality. You still play your role, still express your uniqueness, still dance your own rhythm. But the difference is, now you know it's a dance within a greater choreography. The wave doesn't stop being a wave when it remembers it's the ocean. It just moves with more grace. It no longer fights the tide. It becomes part of it. When you live from this understanding, life stops being a battle and becomes a symphony. You don't have to make everything happen. You allow yourself to be played by the music of existence. You trust that every note, every challenge, every joy belongs to the same song. This realization changes how you see others. The stranger becomes a mirror. The enemy becomes a teacher. Even the person who hurt you becomes part of the sacred choreography of your growth. It doesn't make pain disappear, but it transforms it. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is life showing me here?" And from that place, love expands, not the sentimental kind, but the quiet, steady love that doesn't need reasons. The love that recognizes itself in all directions. Sometimes, people think oneness is a lofty state, reserved for monks or mystics. But it's not distant. It's right here, hidden beneath the ordinary. It's in the moment you breathe in sync with the rhythm of the wind. It's in the way sunlight warms your skin, and, for a brief second, you feel like the light and the warmth are the same thing, because they are. It's in the way you hold someone's hand and can't tell where your heartbeat ends and theirs begins. That's oneness, not an escape from the human experience, but a deeper arrival into it. The truth is, every path, no matter how painful or luminous, leads here to the remembrance that all separation was an illusion, crafted so that love could rediscover itself. Entanglement isn't just a phenomenon of physics. It's the essence of being. It's why we grieve when the planet suffers. It's why beauty moves us to tears. It's why we can sense the joy of a child we've never met. or the fear of a stranger across the world. We are threads in one cosmic fabric, feeling each other through the pulse of existence itself. So when you look into someone's eyes today, a friend, a stranger, even someone who challenges you, take a breath, look deeper, see beyond the mask, beyond the story, beyond the differences. See the same awareness looking back. In that gaze, if only for a moment, the illusion of separation melts, and what remains is truth quiet, vast, unshockably. The truth that the universe is not something you live in. You are the universe, experiencing itself through the miracle of you. When you finally see that, everything changes. You no longer seek to belong. You realize you always did. You no longer try to find meaning, you become meaning itself. You no longer chase love. You are love, remembering its own reflection in every face you meet. And perhaps that is the simplest and most profound realization of all, that all things, stars, the strangers, pain, joy are the same consciousness expressing itself in infinite ways. You are not apart from that consciousness. You are that consciousness. And once you truly feel this not as a thought, but as living truth, even the smallest moment becomes sacred. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every encounter, a reflection. Every heartbeat, a reminder. You were never just a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean endlessly remembering itself. Again and again, through the beautiful illusion of being human. When you feel, you connect. If you have ever missed someone without knowing why, if your chest has ached suddenly as if responding to an invisible call, if you've ever felt another person's sorrow quietly pulsing inside your own heart, know this: it wasn't your imagination. It was the soul speaking its oldest language. There are conversations that never pass through words. There are moments when the invisible does all the talking, the gentle pull of thought, the warmth of presence. The intuition that whispers before the mind can explain. This is how the universe communicates when it wants to remind you that you are not alone. In this vast quantum ocean, there is no you and me. There is only one field, endlessly intelligent, infinitely aware, experiencing itself through countless forms, countless hearts, countless lives. Everything you've ever touched, loved, feared, or dreamed of still moves within that field. Every soul you've crossed paths with still shimmers somewhere in its waves. Every prayer, every sigh, every silent act of compassion continues to ripple through it, carried forward like light that never dies. We are not separate travelers moving through the same space. We are the space itself, learning what it feels like to move. When you learn to feel instead of trying to understand, you begin to return to that invisible network. Understanding belongs to the mind, it divides and defines. Feeling belongs to the soul. It unites and dissolves boundaries. The mind asks, "How can this be?" The heart whispers, "It already is." And the moment you allow yourself to feel without analyzing, without naming, you slip back into harmony with the living web that connects all beings. Feeling is how the universe breathes through you. It's how consciousness touches itself and remembers its own reflection. There was a time when I believed connection required effort, that I had to reach, to send, to act, in order to bridge the distance between myself and others. But the more I quieted, the more I saw that connection isn't something you do. It's what you are. It's the field beneath the noise. It's the silence that exists before thought. It's the stillness inside you that knows exactly how to love, even when the mind has forgotten how. When you stop trying to understand love and start feeling it, you realize it has never been missing. It has only been waiting for you to slow down enough to notice its presence. Every time you pause and let your awareness settle, the field reveals itself. When you close your eyes and sense someone dear to you, that is connection. When you stand beneath the night sky and feel awe instead of thought, that is connection. When you breathe slowly, feeling gratitude, ripple through your body for no particular reason. That too is connection. Because feeling is frequency, and frequency is how consciousness communicates with itself. This is the secret that both science and spirit have been circling around. We are entangled not by proximity, but by awareness. The same energy that binds two quantum particles across galaxies is the same energy that binds hearts across lifetimes. We call it entanglement, empathy, intuition, love. But they are all different names for the same phenomenon, oneness remembering itself. So, if you've ever felt the sudden urge to send kindness to someone, do it. That impulse is not random. It's a signal from the field, inviting you to participate in its balance. If you've ever felt an ache that wasn't yours, bless it. You may be helping release energy that belongs to the collective. And if you've ever felt joy for no reason at all, pure, inexplicable joy, cherish it. It's the field rejoicing through you, reminding you of what you are, beneath the story of who you've been. We are not isolated frequencies. We are chords vibrating, blending, creating symphonies that the universe listens to with delight. The soul doesn't speak in logic or definition. Its language is vibration, and its grammar is feeling. Every emotion, from grief to gratitude, is part of this dialogue. Pain is the field asking to be released. Love is the field remembering itself. When you stop resisting either, you become fluent in the language of energy. You start to understand not through thinking, but through resonance. You begin to sense what others need, even without words. You start noticing synchronicities more often. The song that plays at the right time. The stranger who says the sentence you were longing to hear. This is how the quantum field answers. Not through miracles that defy nature, but through nature itself revealing its coherence. The longer I live, the more I understand that life isn't a puzzle to solve. It's a rhythm to feel. The more I try to figure it out, the more it slips away. But when I soften, when I simply listen, the world opens effortlessly. You don't need to meditate for hours or read ancient texts to feel connected. Just breathe. Just notice the quiet pulse beneath your heartbeat. Just pay attention to the warmth that appears in your chest when you think of someone you love. That's the entire universe, humming through you. The field is never far. It doesn't live in temples or stars. It lives in your awareness, and every moment of stillness brings you closer to it. So perhaps, the next time you think of someone for no reason, don't dismiss it. Maybe their soul brushed against yours, saying, "I'm here." When you feel a sudden wave of peace wash over you, don't question it. Maybe someone out there prayed for you, and the field delivered that vibration straight into your heart. This is the invisible network that sustains us, the pulse beneath the chaos, the order beneath the noise. It doesn't belong to any religion or theory. It belongs to consciousness itself. It's the same intelligence that grows the trees, moves the tides, and breathes you. Even as you read these words, you are not outside of it. You are made of it. And maybe, just maybe, this very moment is proof. You and I, separated by distance, by time, by countless invisible walls, are meeting right here. Inside this shared field of awareness, you're reading words I wrote in another place, another hour. Yet somehow, they're touching you now, awakening something quiet inside you. How could that be, if not for the entanglement that threads all consciousness together? It's the same field that carries love, that carries memory, that carries meaning across the vastness of existence. We are both part of it. Two ripples rising from the same ocean, meeting in the middle for just a breath, before merging again into stillness. If you take nothing else from this journey, remember this: when you feel, you connect. When you open your heart, you return to the truth that has always been waiting, that there is no me or you, only awareness, experiencing itself through infinite forms. The mind will try to complicate it, the world will distract you from it. But beneath everything, beneath all movement, sound, and thought, there is this steady pulse of being, whispering, "We are one." So slow down. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel the heartbeat that has never stopped, carrying the rhythm of galaxies within it. You are not apart from life. You are life, remembering itself. And perhaps, right now, through this very breath, through these very words, you and I are already entangled in the same gentle wave of vibration. One awareness, two mirrors, meeting across the silence. And in that silence, the universe smiles because it has data, once again, found itself in connection.